Hello Starcraft fans, this is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another weekly Legacy of the Void cast. This is iHusky versus MOARpylons on Dusk Towers. Now, when I got this game back from my screener named Squeaks, I did not realize it had a player named Husky. It's entirely a coincidence. In the top right of Dusk Towers, we have the red Protoss player. It is iHusky. And in the bottom left of Dusk Towers, it is the blue Zerg player, MOARpylons. Oh, and MOARpylons is saying, if this is the real Husky, please make more videos. Oh, MOARpylons, it's so sad. I know Husky is gone, we all miss him. In fact, the reason I got into casting is because people like Husky and Starcraft and Day 9 pretty much abandoned the game, started doing other things, which I respect. I mean, they did it for a long time and a lot of work, and it can get very difficult. And at the point that something fun starts turning into a job, might be time to walk away. So I do respect Husky for doing that. And for MOARpylons, you need to hear the gospel of Falcon Paladin. You can come watch me. I have some good content as well. Anyway, early hatcher against Protoss for MOARpylons. So I was told this is a Bronze League game, but that strategy, okay, APM's like 20 for the Protoss and 50 for the Zerg. So alright, this is something where we can actually find some things to discuss. This is a series in which I go ahead and critique the play of the players, teach them things they need to know in a way that is hopefully entertaining and not mocking. Like, I don't want to hurt these people's feelings. They're playing Starcraft, which I respect. I mean, if I'd never played Starcraft before, and I just picked it up for the first time, I'd be so intimidated I wouldn't even want to play, because I'd just get crushed on the ladder all the time. It'd be very, very sad. But these people are brave. They are here playing. They earn everything that they get. And holy smokes, 3 hatches for MOARpylons? Was that a 3 hatch before spawning pool play? This is a pro level strategy for MOARpylons. I'm not sure if you belong here, Zerg player, but we'll have to wait and see. Alright, so Protoss, you went ahead and got 2 early gas, which is fine. The build timings are good here, except a little bit late on the gas, which is okay. I mean, what you do want to pay attention to is when your assimilators pop, you want to get in there and actually start harvesting right away, because you're wasting Vespene gas if you don't. Cybercore pops up, and immediately an Adept comes out. Bronze League players are different from what they used to be back in the day, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me on this. When I was a Bronze League player back in Starcraft 2, the original Wings of Liberty, Bronze was Bronze. Players were super duper bad, but now I feel like Bronze is players who know what they're doing for the most part. Look at this. 3 hatch, getting 2 workers in the gas. That should probably be 3. MOARpylons, no big deal. And that 3rd hatch pops. And are there going to be queens? MOARpylons does not have quite enough minerals for that many queens. Does have 2, but not enough for a 3rd one quite yet. That's A-okay. I like... Just kidding. I was going to say I like that drone running around scouting. Look at this. Chrono boosting out the warp gate research on the cybernetics core. That's also an excellent play here from iHusky. More and more Adepts coming out. I like the Adept opening against Zerg. Like I said, iHusky seems to know what he's doing. Getting a Nexus as well at a reasonable time. Walling off this crazy huge ramp that must be nightmares. Or must give nightmares to Protoss players who try to wall that off. The injects here are probably not going to be the best. Come on, Queen, you can do it. You popped out like 3 seconds ago. You can inject. Yes, good Queen. Good Queen. How about you? Already injected. Good. Another Queen coming up here. No. All right, so you do want 1 Queen per hatchery if you're a Zerg player. Definitely 1 per. Also, another Queen for creep spread would be good. And I'm not sure if this is supposed to be a hidden base or what, because a 3rd base here or here would have been easier to defend against the Protoss player, but that is A-okay. Look at this. Even getting +1 attack. Now, here's something I would recommend for iHusky is being aggressive with those Adepts. Made a couple Adepts, they're just sitting on the ramp not doing anything. Head out across the map, see if you can kill some workers. I know it's scary to move out across the map, but if you make Adepts early enough, the only thing that can really kill you is a bunch of Lings, and if you force a bunch of Lings out of your Zerg opponent, you've pretty much won, because those aren't drones. Zerg player wants to be droning. If they're forced to make Lings to deal with your Adepts, that is a win condition for you. And also you can 2-shot Lings and 2-shot workers. Queens kind of cause you some trouble, but that's okay, no big deal on that side of things. Just kind of stay away from them. You're pretty quick, and using that sonic transfer, you can escape from trouble very easily as well. But as it stands, look at this. You've let the Zerg player continue to inject on the hatcheries. Still not getting a Queen here. Probably should do that at some point. And I don't know if it's even worth really walling off here. To be honest, iHusky, I think I'd rather see you throw a pylon here and here, build your buildings closer to the Nexus, and use Photon Overcharge to defend against whatever the Zerg player is doing. Your Mothership Core is here. I like this. Good positioning. You can Photon Overcharge these 2 pylons if you need to. But right now, a Ling run by would absolutely ruin your day. If anything, wall off here, hold it with a Zealot or an Adept right about at that corner, and then worry about defending your natural with the Photon Overcharge. So that really makes a lot of sense in my mind. Anyway, another queen popping out there. And look at this drone count for more pylons. 41 drones. One more on the way to 36. In comparison, for Husky, APM still sub 100, about 42. For the Protoss player, playing as fast as he possibly can. I believe that with all of my heart. Inject queen. Inject. And again, there are a lot of good resources online for timings and how to inject with your queens. There you go. And try to keep them on task. That is one thing that is the difference between a good Starcraft 2 Zerg player and an elite Starcraft 2 Zerg player is timely injects. Did he just stack injects there? I think he did. Good job. Good job indeed. Spawning additional larvae. Anyway, so there are things you could do. Eventually, there will be a timer inside your head that'll tell you when it's time to inject. And you'll just know it automatically. You'll go back there and you'll inject when you need to all the time, every time. But what you might want to do is set up the injects so they're all going at the same time, and then set up a timer on your phone or something to go off every, what is it, 30 seconds? What's the cooldown on this thing? Something like 30 seconds. And then it beeps, you go back, inject. It resets again after 30 seconds. You inject. It can really help you to train that way. So there are some good methods, again, for that. I do also love the Spore Crawlers coming up for more pylons right now. Has no idea what the Protoss player is doing. Has little groups of lings around, but none of them have gone anywhere near the Protoss base. If we look, I guess we have gone up there and done a quick little scout.
Mutation complete.
But that's about it. Man, those voices are loud from the campaign. Anyway, what was I saying? If you don't know what the Protoss player is doing because they're denying your scouts, which is very, very possible, an Overseer might be a good answer to that, but get a Spore Crawler in each of your mineral lines, because that way the Spore Crawler will deal with Phoenix, will deal with Oracles, and deal with Dark Templar, which are three things that can show up pretty early and wreck you. I know it costs a drone, you lose a drone mining there, but just do it. It's so worth it. It saved my bacon more than once, and the times I haven't made a Spore Crawler in my base, Dark Templars just showed up and just killed me, and it's so embarrassing. I swore I'd never let that happen again. Extended Thermal Lance being built immediately, researched immediately by iHusky upon the completion of that Robo Bay. Look at that. I like this. So the question is, are there actually Colossus coming out? Yes. So here we have some queued up units. I know it makes a lot of sense to you to queue up units in your head, but if they're queued up, they're actually taking up the money that they would that you could be spending otherwise on other things. So now it actually starts building, but for a while there, the Colossus was taking up 300 minerals and 200 gas that you could have been spending on other stuff. So it's not necessarily a huge deal. What is going on here? There we go. Anyway, not a huge deal at this level, but again, you'll watch the pro players play and they don't queue things up. They basically wait for this one to finish, pop in another one, immediately spend that money on other things, and they're much happier for it. Observers are coming out for iHusky. Is that the same one as it was before? Units tab shows me... Yeah, only one observer out. Maybe one died. Yes, did lose an observer. So the first one died, probably ran into a Spore Crawler, or a Queen killed it. Anyway, upgrades coming up here. Evolution Chamber. This one should be under use. If you have Evolution Chambers or Forges or Engineering Bays, be using them at all times. Just check them to make sure they're researching something, anything. Missile attacks, melee attacks. You might need those units later if you're a Zerg player. You never know when you'll have to tech switch. Now, this Ling-Roach combination here at the 8-minute mark is okay, but it pretty much gets wrecked by Disruptors or by Colossus with some support. So I would recommend getting some Lurkers. Basically, the Protoss player has left the Zerg player entirely alone at this point, and somehow Protoss is up on Zerg, 52 to 46 Harvesters. That third base is up and running. All the gas have been taken here. Both Protoss and Zerg very, very gas reliant on their compositions, especially towards the mid and late game. Terran doesn't necessarily have to have all of their refineries taken at all stages in the game, but at this point, Protoss and Zerg definitely want to have it. So how are the upgrades here? +2 attack upgrades already. Wow, that is actually impressive from iHusky. Warping an additional units, quickly warping them in with his warp gates. Stalkers they are. I like this composition, but again, Roach Ling pretty much eats this for dinner, assuming the Colossus composition, Colossus count is not too high. So again, injects looking really good, actually. Consistently running around, injecting. I mean, this is bronze level, you guys. This is what bronze is these days. Observer running out of there. Nothing much can kill it except these, I guess these Corruptors could have taken it down if there was an Observer, or an Overseer rather, on the field. These guys patrolling, and again, something that people will point out. Why? Oh. Is there a drop that I missed? There must have been a drop that I missed. 7 probes died. Where did those units go? They get picked up and run out. Alright. Alright. Either way, if you watch the pro players, what you'll notice is that the drop attacks from Zerg come early. So you want to get those drop attacks out before maybe 5 or 6 minutes. If you're dropping later without really doing anything to whittle down the main army, you might actually just lose. Because drops are a good way to harass your opponent, but it can't actually kill them unless you take out their entire economy, which is really difficult to do against a player who has any idea what they're doing. These drop lords, though, trying to find another angle in which to attack. These lings running on up, doing a quick scout, and there are Colossus here. There are 2 Colossus here with +3 attack. Look at these upgrades from iHusky. Both of these players actually doing pretty well. And here comes another drop. Roaches and lings on top of all of these workers. And the cannons actually getting a couple shots off, ignoring the cannons. I like that. Here comes the rest of the army, the pick up and the run. See, that's another thing that can be improved here by iHusky. If you move your stalkers closer and then attack, they might have been able to kill those overlords, but because one was attacking from distance, it blocked the others from getting there. And now they have free reign on this base as well. I almost would prefer to see banelings here, but at this point, the overlords do get killed, and all the roaches are getting cleaned up. But at what cost? 15 probes have died for 5 roaches and 9 lings. That's definitely a fair trade for the Zerg player. Absolutely. If you're worried about drops as Protoss, go ahead and put a cannon in your mineral line. It will attack the overlords as well as the units that it's carrying. So keep that in mind. Not a huge deal. And again, just kind of passivity. I think that's the word. Passivity. The composition here looks okay. Corruptor count should probably be higher if you're planning on killing some of these Colossus. Taking more and more bases here. More pylons, up to 78 workers. And has a pretty big bank. How much larva does he have? 14 larvae. So again, the injects are looking pretty consistent as well. All of these bases have been injected recently. Let's see the timing on this one. Ready, set, inject. No, he's busy moving his army. He's moving his swarm out. Not going to inject for now. Corruptor count looking much, much better. Wow, a lot better actually against these Colossus. You know what's also good against Protoss right now? Lurkers. You can make some lurkers. Hidden ninja base down here by Husky. A 4th base. Was this scouted? Did MOARpylons see that? No, he did not know that was there. Is this just a blind attack with lings? I don't know if he saw a probe come down here or what, but he absolutely found this base and sniffed it out. And at this point, iHusky really needs to cancel that Nexus. If you cancel the Nexus, you get all the money, not all the money, some of the money back for it that you spent on building it. If this thing dies, you just lose all 400 minerals, and it's a bad, bad feeling. And boom, does not cancel. All you lower level players, be sure to cancel your buildings that are for sure going to die if they're under construction. It saves you a lot. And here comes a ling counterattack getting melted by this Colossus count. This +3 Colossus count, just absolutely terrifying to those lings. They are running away. I like this from MOARpylon. Do not engage. If you have lings against a heavy Archon or heavy Colossus composition, get out of there. Get something that can handle those units like the Colossus. Like lurkers. Lurkers can be very good. Lings try to come in, and oh, if he's paying attention to the links, he might have been able to surround this Colossus, but no. The army actually comes back with the recall to the base to deal with this. The lings with their +1 melee or +1 carapace, not enough to take down that Robo Bay. But I like that. As a Zerg player, keep the Protoss on their toes, make them recall back home. Because if they're back home, the Protoss player is not on your front door scaring you half to death. That is a scary place for the Protoss player to be. Corruptor's actually hanging out around this monolith thing. That's kind of cool. Are there other things that go above the flight path of Corruptors? Or other flying units? I don't know. I really don't. Anyway, extra hatcheries being taken. I like the idea of taking these hatcheries, but at this point, MOARpylons needs to move some workers. Has he been? He's been transferring workers away from the dwindling mineral patches here at his main base. And it looks like he's not super oversaturated anywhere except for here. Could probably stand to send some workers up somewhere else. The Corruptors come on in, and they caustic spray down their Robo Bay. Hey, look at that. Legacy of the Void ability right here. And they're going to try to get this Nexus? Are they? There's not going to happen. The army is here. They're ready. I think they're just running. Oh, but the army is moving out of position. Then coming back on in. They need some flying units to deal with this. Greater Spire on the way for iHusky, or for MOARpylons rather. Safer location for a Nexus here for iHusky. And the Corruptors are actually going to try to take down a Colossus. They get a Colossus. Can they get a second one? I don't know, but the whole army running away at the threat of these Corruptors. The music getting very exciting. I don't know if that necessarily applies to the current situation, but It is exciting nonetheless. Oh, good blink on in. The Stalkers killing a bunch of Corruptors there. Another one falling. Only 2 left. Yeah, that was good. 5 Corruptors killed. 6 possibly just out of range with his 7 hit points. No, comes back in and dies. Takes a wrong flight path and ends up dead. Scouting this base out. The army coming up. These Lings, these Corruptors, and some Vipers. There are Vipers in a Bronze League game? I never knew. I never did. So here comes the big engagement. iHusky has the Colossus count, I think, to deal with this. Caustic Spray being used on that Nexus and causing it to explode. And then just dancing back. Again, iHusky basically concedes the loss of that base. The Zerg player not pushing in. I kind of like that. I honestly like that play for MOARpylons here. It's kind of a weird name that its name is MOARpylons when he's a Zerg at this point. But basically, the Zerg player is trying to starve the Protoss out. He's saying, you know what, I've killed your workers, you're starting to lose mineral patches at your natural, your third base doesn't have much going on either, only 52 probes. Where are they? Oh, a bunch of idle probes. Okay, another tip, on the left side of your game, there's an idle probes button. It shows you how many workers are not currently doing anything. If you click that, it will select them, and you could tell them to go to work over here, for example. Seems like a good place for them to go. Roach is checking to make sure this base has not been replanted, and no, it absolutely has not. Broodlords on the way. I haven't seen Broodlords on my channel for at least a couple weeks. And in a Bronze League game, no less. Into the Void, teaching us some things, ladies and gentlemen. I like to see Broodlords here. Now, the reason you don't see Broodlords very much, excuse me, in current Pro games is that they're just so slow. Roaches come on into their deaths. Archons and Colossus? Nope. No. And Immortals, too, with that +3 attack. 65 damage versus Armored. Anyway, I was saying you don't see Broodlords just because Tempests are a great answer to Broodlords. They have good range, they attack from distance, and they hit Broodlords pretty hard. In addition, Blinkstalkers blinking under the Broodlords as well is a good answer, as well as you can get under there. So there's a single Broodlord. I'm not sure if that's enough to really be scary here, but iHusky being very brave here and pushing right on in. Archons, Colossus at the back. The Stalkers need to focus down the Corruptors. The Vipers are just moving in and getting murdered. Oh boy. Not much good happening there. Blinding Cloud actually coming down. Seems a little bit unnecessary, and here comes iHusky. Murder on his mind. Blinking under those Vipers, killing them. The Corruptors are running away. Possibly going to try to kill another Nexus. At least they're pulling iHusky's Blinkstalkers back. So that's good, because again, Protoss army on the front door. I don't know what was available for MOARpylons to handle that. Again, idle drones. Move them up here. You have a base you can send them to. I know it's hard. Anyway, I was going to say, I know it's hard to keep track of everything that's going on, but Corruptors dying. Broodlords getting morphed in somewhere. Where are they getting morphed in? Oh, over here. They're going to lay siege to this base because there's no flying units. They can kind of abuse this open air. Anyway, iHusky pulling on in. These Overlords need to run for their lives, and they don't. The Roach Ball. Again, Roaches against this composition. Unless they're not on a move. Oh, no, you have to... No, iHusky, what are you doing? Why aren't... Alright, so that just gave MOARpylons a fighting chance. The Colossus finally turn around and start to spray lasers on top of them. Archons in the front are getting killed. Immortal with 6 kills, feeling very strong against all of these Roaches. Broodlords raining down destruction in the form of Broodlings on this natural base. A lot of workers are going to die. This could turn into a base race. And if you're going to base race as Zerg, it might as well be Protoss. If you're going to base race as Protoss, it might as well be against Zerg. All these Roaches are rallying in and just getting killed. The Colossus are the MVPs of this match. More Colossus coming from the backside, actually distracting the target firing of iHusky here, but I don't think it really matters. Roaches are just not intended to fight against this many Colossus. At least not in these numbers. The Broodlings continue to reign pretty much unchecked. Nope, some Stalkers show up, but they're getting surrounded by Broodlings, making their maneuverability pretty much 0, and all the Stalkers do end up dying there. No attack upgrades on the Broodlings, which is kind of a big deal. Continuing to make Roaches, rallying them in. Alright, that's another tip. If you are rallying Roaches, if you're rallying attacking units to come defend your base, rally them somewhere safe. I know you were rallying here earlier when this was a safe space, but rally up here, maybe. If you're a worker, if you're hatching from over here, rally up here. Again, safe locations are where you need to be. These Broodlords actually starting to kill buildings, and Husky decides to head back home. Now, I don't know about this. He doesn't really have anything to deal with the Broodlords. If these Stalkers can get right under the Broodlords, might be able to kill them, but the broodlings are starting to come on over. Do they have blink? They do have blink. They could blink up on that high ground. Broodlord, actually some pretty good Broodlord micro here from MOARpylons. And again, without the upgrade, broodlings aren't that much of a threat, but they're trying to get to that area in the dead space behind the map. And now attack moving, trying to get those stalkers. Colossus actually helping by burning up those broodlings before the stalkers actually die. But here is a pro tip for all of you Protoss players out there. If there are units back here flying around causing you trouble, like corruptors, like broodlords, get a void ray, get like a few phoenix, and just go kill them. Another counterattack here by roaches and a few mutalisks as well. This base completely falling apart for iHusky. The broodlords in the air continuing to throw down those broodlings. And there are a couple stalkers here that can actually hit them. So another stalker's or another broodlord is going to die, greatly reducing the percentage of broodlings coming on. And transferring probes, wrong place, wrong time. When you're transferring probes, always make sure they're going to a safe place. A few stalkers warping in, but the roach count is too high here. +2/+2, good upgrades on the roaches. I'd like to see +3/+3 at this point. Finally, there we go. iHusky is making a couple Stargates, has enough money to make some Void Rays. And you know what? Void Rays would be a brilliant choice here, assuming he can get it done. What's he going to make out of these Stargates? Tempest would be pretty good as well. I would say Void Ray is probably a better choice, because nothing can really shoot up except for 2 Mutalisks, I guess, and a Corruptor, but Corruptors aren't very good. And here comes the final battle. Roaches on the left side, Roaches on the right side, just getting destroyed by this extended thermal lance, but I don't think it really matters. They're starting to whittle down this Colossus count. They're taking direct hit from the acid saliva. These roaches on the left are not actually attacking the Colossus, but it doesn't matter. A GG from Husky. Husky is defeated. MOARpylons is victorious, and Husky has left the game. Wow. So that, again, was a pretty action-packed Into the Void episode, if I do say so myself. I wasn't quite sure who was going to win. I thought iHusky, when he had the big Colossus Death Ball down here, he had it in the bag, but the lack of an A move, I think, really crushed him. You know what? Anytime you're moving your army somewhere where you're not sure what's going on, always A move. Even if it's a trap, even if you're moving somewhere that is dangerous, at least your units will attack before they die. If you just right-click move them, there are so many bad things that can happen, like walking up here while roaches are attacking Colossus or attacking Immortals. Got a bunch of kills there. And I think that is really what was the difference in this game. MOARpylons continued to make units, did not give up, continued to make roaches. I'm not sure about that choice, but in the end it worked out for him. The Broodlords as well, 10 kills, 13 kills. Ravagers, both. And yeah, in the end, the Zerg player managed to win out pretty much just by making more units, I think is how it went. Look at the units lost tab here. 157 roaches died, 21 corruptors, 16 zealots, 4 archons, 7 colossus, 2 immortals, 37 stalkers for the Protoss. So again, resources lost. If we take a look at it, Zerg, 20,000 minerals, 8,000 gas compared to 19,000 minerals and 5,000, 6,000 gas for iHusky. So once again, Zerg has to be a little bit less cost efficient to beat Protoss, and Protoss needs to make the most of their units. In the end, that did not happen here for iHusky, and it cost him the game. So I hope you found this educational and entertaining today. I'm going to go ahead and do this every week. Post the episodes on Friday nights as a third cast of the day. And you know what? I just realized I've been doing campaign casts as well. How am I going to do this? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyway, it's going to post on Friday sometime, so look for that. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for joining me today. This has been Falcon Paladin with yet another weekly Legacy of the Void cast. If you like what you saw today, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. You can also catch me on Twitter and Facebook, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, you take care of yourself.